Why do people become entrepreneurs? Welcome back. I'm Ted Thomas, and I've been involved as an entrepreneur from a home office for over 30 years. Now, my office is small, but that doesn't mean that the company revenue has to be small. Today's episode, I'm answering the question, why do people become entrepreneurs? Well, the answer is really very easy. Most people think they're going to get very rich or they're going to get very famous. So I understand that you want to do that, and I welcome you to the club, and hopefully you can do that. But I need to be realistic and make sure that we don't paint the picture too famously. However, there are a lot of failures, and I mean a lot of failures. So I think people really want to escape the rat race. That's the biggest reason. But they'll tell everybody they want to be rich and they want to be famous. But I think what they really want to do is they'd like to retire early and have a little bit more leisure in their life. But more importantly than anything, what they really want to do is they want to be their own boss and not have someone telling them what to do. So escaping the rat race, what does that mean? It means working a lot less and being able to fulfill your work life. In other words, you still have a good job, you still have good pay, but you don't have to work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. So escaping the rat race can usually be a financial problem, or it can be a financial dream. So let's make it a dream, but escaping the rat race is what you're really after in most cases. I know a lot of people want to be rich and they want to be famous because they want to be like Jeff Bezos or they want to be like Elon Musk. Well, let's see if we can just get you to be the entrepreneur. So most entrepreneurs would prefer freedom to work, and can you blame them for that? So they want to work when they want to work and not when the boss wants them to work. So I get that. So there's nothing wrong with that. What is the challenge is, do you have skills and do you have visions? So if you want to be an entrepreneur, what you really need is you need skill and you need vision of what you're going to do. So in this episode, we're going to talk about why do people become entrepreneurs. I'll be right back. Okay, now as I come back, the question I'm answering today is, why do people become entrepreneurs? Well, some of the biggest reasons are the word freedom. I can hardly wait to get to that word freedom, as you can tell. People want a lot of freedom to do what they want, and people want to have balance in their life between work and freedom. Usually freedom is 80% of what they're concerned about, and work would like to be 20. All right. Now, if you have children and you're working from home, well, a lot of women want to stay home and work, and they want to balance that time. They want to have some time to raise the kids so they can enjoy that, and they also want to have some time to work. All right, so I don't know where you are in the work scale, but I know that you want more freedom. So the opportunity to make big money is certainly there if you can develop a business and you can hold on to some cash flow, and you're able to not only develop the money to do it, but you're able to develop the skills to do it. Okay, the whole idea is, at the end of the day, you want to feel good and you want to evaluate yourself. So the entrepreneurial life can be designed any way that you want it to be. Now, life looks different when you're at home and you're an entrepreneur, okay? All right, now I know what you want to do. You want to escape the drudgery of working 40 to 60 hours every week. You don't want to have any wage restrictions. You don't want any timekeepers. You don't want any social restraints, and you don't want to have to wear a tie. I got all that. So there's two sides to this story. All right, the first side that you want to try to identify is, how much work do you want to do and what kind of lifestyle do you really want to have? Now, few people admit it, but not everyone is alert enough where they're engaged and they're always searching and focusing on earning more money. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to have to figure out how you're going to make money. Revenue is number one. Number two is going to be holding on to that revenue, and a lot of people don't get that. So the reality is, a lot of people do not survive in business. That doesn't mean they can't work. They don't survive because they don't understand. Number one is revenue, and number two is, are you managing that revenue? So when it comes to developing opportunities, you've got to think about that. If you have to produce products, it takes time to manufacture things. Okay, if you're going to produce a service means you're probably going to deliver it yourself. This all requires experience, and all requires that you do a lot of work. Now, I happen to read a well-known author by the name of Chet Holmes. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, but he wrote some interesting books, and one of the books he wrote was The Ultimate Sales Machine, which I've recommended to a lot of people. Now, the book is a great guide for entrepreneurs that want to form teams that are going to sell and help them do things. So one of the things that Chet Holmes always says, if you're going to be successful as an entrepreneur, you're going to have to be pig-headed, and that means stubborn. Pig-headed, stubborn, and you're going to have to be determined. I mean, this is important. You're going to have to be a determined person if you're going to be an entrepreneur. Now, when I say determined, people know that stubbornness is something that we all don't like. Well, you're going to have to be stubborn and determined. You're going to have to say, this is something I'm going to do. I really mean it when I say entrepreneurs have to be determined. Okay, now you're not alone when you want to be an entrepreneur. There's a lot of people try this, and there's a lot of people fail. The failure rate is very high. According to the Small Business Administration, 80% of all the startups will fail in the first 5 years. Okay, so I don't know when your breakthrough is going to come, but it will come, but it's going to come from basically working. So it's not going to be a huge breakthrough where you're suddenly going to be rich. It's more than likely it's going to be a step-by-step process of getting better, or like walking upstairs. It's going to be one step at a time. It's critical that you have a work ethic, that you're determined, and you're going to be able to handle adversity and keep working. All right, so if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to have to start thinking, what is your skill level? What product are you going to create? What service are you going to create? And what are you going to do to solve other people's problems? If you can't solve someone else's problem, you're not going to be an entrepreneur. It's not going to work. Entrepreneurs have to generate new clients. The way you generate new clients is you solve other people's problems. So you need a problem-solving product, or you need a problem-solving service, one or the other. If you need to solve problems, you better be an expert at whatever your craft is. So if you have no skills, start thinking about that. You're going to have to choose a specialty, choose a skill that other people want. Okay, now customers will buy your skill, whether it's working with a computer, whether it's being a carpenter or a plumber or whatever it is, whatever your skill level is, that's what people are buying. So they're happy to pay you for that because you're solving their problem. But if you can't solve problems, they're not going to pay you any money. All right. Now, not understanding what the number one source is in the business and number two is important. But let me give you some ideas here. Number one, revenue is very important. Number two, holding on to that revenue is important. All right. Now, how are you going to generate sales for this business? You're going to have to think about marketing and sales. Now, people always talk about their skill that they can create something, but they just leave out the marketing and sales. Well, if you're leaving out marketing and sales, how are you going to generate the money that this business needs? Without revenue, this business is going to go away. So if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you're starting to think about what we're going to do. All right, so if you're an entrepreneur because you don't get along with everybody else, I completely understand that. There's a lot of oddball people that become entrepreneurs. They're very skilled. They're willing to work 20 hours a day, but they always want to do it in the middle of the night. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with any of that. Okay, if you want to be famous like Bill Gates or Stephen Jobs, I understand that too. The challenge is you're going to have some special skills to do that. Now, 30 years ago, I discovered a business that I could do just by looking at the risk-reward ratio. I could look and see that business was very, very profitable. Very few people understood the business. It was available in all 50 states. So what did I do? Well, I passed over it for many years. I didn't even look at it. I just went right by it, didn't even notice it was there. Now, thousands of people are employed in the same business. And the business I got involved with is a subset of real estate. Now, what real estate am I talking about? Just traditional real estate, like homes, small apartments, residential lots that are buildable. Okay, but I got in the tax defaulted part of it. Why did I do that? Well, it was very simple. Those properties were being sold for 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents on the dollar. Now, how could that happen? Well, the state and the county, if the people don't pay their tax, the county will confiscate those properties and sell them at auction. I could buy them at auction for 10, 20 cents on the dollar, and I could sell them for whatever I want. Well, if I could sell whatever I want, that means if I could buy for 30 cents on the dollar and I could sell for 50 or 80 cents on the dollar, all that margin was mine. So here was a business that I could make money with, and it had very low risk and reward to it. By that I mean the risk was low because I was buying for a low price, and the reward was high because I could generate a profit quickly. So if you could buy for 20 or 30 cents on the dollar, and you could sell for 50 or 60 cents on the dollar, how many would you want to buy? You want to buy as many as you could. All right, this business works, the tax defaulted business. Why? Because I can buy for 10, 20, 30 cents on the dollar. So let's say I buy a property, I might even be able to make $25,000 or even $50,000 on one deal. If I can make one deal and make $25,000 or $50,000, well, I don't have to do too many of those deals every year to make a lot of money. Now, this is available in all 50 states. There's over 3,000 counties across the United States, and they all sell tax defaulted property. Once you learn how to do this, you can do it You can do it 365 days of the year practically because there's so many auctions. There's going to be approximately 5,000 auctions every year. What are they auctioning? They're auctioning off homes, buildable lots, small apartments, and they're offering these properties in many cases for just the back taxes. They're willing to sell the property with no mortgage and no deed of trust loan for just the back taxes. So if you could buy a property, purchase a property for 10 or 20 cents or 30 cents on the dollar and sell it for 50, 60, or 80 cents on the dollar, how many would you want to buy? So my name is Ted Thomas. If you want to get involved in this business, we can tell you more about it. But right below me, you can see where you can get a free auction list. All of the auctions take place across the United States, and they're done at the county level. You invest with the county, you get your money back from the county. I'll see you in the next video.